Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today we return to one of the most feared mages in Hero Wars, Alliance. Iris has received a full skill rework, and on top of that, her legendary relics have finally arrived. The result? A hero who was already terrifying in the right hands may now become one of the most dominant forces in the current meta. This update changes everything. Her damage delivery has shifted, her execution patterns are sharper, her timing windows are different, and her synergy options have opened in ways most players are not ready for. And the relics. Those take her identity to a completely new level. Once they reach the higher tiers, the power spike is absolute. She becomes faster, more brutal, and far harder to shut down than before. Today we're breaking down exactly what was changed, how each new skill works, and how her relics transform her impact on the battlefield. We'll go through each ability step by step as you send them in, explain the mechanical differences, and show how these new effects translate into real matches. If you were already afraid of Iris before, wait until you see what she can do now. Guardians? Let's begin. Soul Burning, Iris' new execution engine. This rework keeps the identity of her ultimate, but now it behaves with far more consistency, far more pressure, and a clearer win condition. Iris begins building pure soul charges every time an allied hero receives a buff and every time an enemy receives a debuff. Those charges are the heart of her damage. The more charges Iris holds, the bigger the explosion becomes when she activates Soul Burning. At max level, the base hit already reaches dangerous numbers. But each pure soul charge adds even more damage, scaling the ability into a true finisher. And here's the crucial part: when she casts it, Iris damages every enemy on the field at the same time. Anyone caught below the execution threshold is immediately eliminated. And unlike normal defeats, heroes killed by soul burning cannot be resurrected. No Astaroth? No Rufus? No Aiden? Nothing brings them back. This turns Iris into a guaranteed closer. She doesn't need to burst from full health anymore. She just needs her team to generate buffs and debuffs until her charges stack up. When the moment arrives, Soul Burning becomes a map-wide execution, precise, unstoppable, and final. Otherworldly Creature, Iris' second tool of destruction. This rework transforms Bitey from a simple familiar into a tactical debuff machine. The moment Bitey strikes, he weakens the enemy's magic defense by a massive amount, instantly exposing them to Iris' amplified execution damage. But the real power comes from the second part of the skill. Bitey now extends every debuff on the target. If the enemy is already under poison, charm, sleep, defense reduction, or any other negative effect, Bitey stretches the duration by 5 full seconds. And while the debuffs last longer, any new debuff applied during this window is also extended. This means Iris becomes significantly better in teams that layer control, magic pressure, or damage over time mechanics. Otherworldly Creature doesn't just soften a target. It locks them into a weakened state where every following spell hits harder and stays longer. And when debuffs stretch across the timeline, Iris reaches her pure soul charges faster, preparing the execution that follows. Mysterious Pact, Iris' silent shield and hidden dagger. With her rework, this skill becomes one of the strongest defensive passives in the entire game. Iris turns permanently immune to debuffs, no blinds, no armor breaks, no curses, no silences, nothing. Every control effect that normally shuts down a damage dealer simply slides off her like mist. She becomes untouchable. But the second half of the pact is where the danger begins. Whenever an enemy weakens one of your allies, or applies any negative mark to them, Iris immediately retaliates by lowering that enemy's physical and magical attack. And this happens automatically, even multiple times inside a fight, as long as it's not on the same target within half a second. This transforms Iris into a constant pressure unit. Every time enemies try to debuff your frontline, stack marks, or apply control, they get punished with weakened damage. That means their burst becomes slower, their combos fail, and their O loses bite. Mysterious Pact turns Iris into a stable, consistent counterweight against control-heavy or buff-heavy teams. She denies their pressure while reducing their offensive power, setting the stage for her soul burning to finish them once their health drops low enough. Inner Fire, Iris Hidden Executioner. With her rework, this passive becomes the ignition core that transforms Iris from a pure finisher into a sustained battlefield threat. Every time a debuff is applied to an enemy, any debuff from any ally, Iris brands that enemy with an Inner Fire charge. Each charge burns them for magic damage every second, and the burn continues as long as the debuff remains active. But the true danger begins when Eternity heroes enter the fight. If the debuff comes from an Eternity hero, Morrigan, Corvus, Phobos, Polaris, Iris herself, the burn doubles in power. That means teams built around constant debuffs, defense reduction, armor breaks, stuns, or even mark-based mechanics will feed Iris an endless stream of burning stacks. The burn is capped at 5 charges per target, but the pace at which Iris now applies them makes it incredibly easy to hit maximum stacks on multiple enemies simultaneously. Combine that with her magic defense reduction from Bitey, her debuff retaliation from Mysterious Pact, and her execution threshold from soul burning, and suddenly, every second of the fight becomes a countdown for your enemies. Inner Fire completes Iris' evolution into a monster. She no longer relies on a single nuke window or perfect setup. Now she damages, weakens, burns, interrupts, and executes, all at the same time. And the craziest part. We haven't even opened her relics yet. Those will take this rework to a completely different level. Our next video will be the full breakdown of Iris legendary relics, and trust me, Guardians. That's where the real nightmare begins. And that's our first deep dive into Iris rework, Guardians. This update didn't just polish her kit, it transformed her entire identity. She's faster, smarter, deadlier, and now she punishes every buff, every debuff, and every misstep your enemies make. The battlefield bends around her, and we're only at the beginning. Her relics will push this even further, and you need to be ready, because once we reveal them, you'll finally understand why Iris is about to dominate both offense and defense. So tell me in the comments. What do you think about the new Iris? What team will you build around her? And are you ready for the relics? Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.